Girl, you have got to try this Laneige lip mask. Trust me, my lips needed that love.
Love these vanilla vibes from Kayali. That top note is just so smooth. Smooth and stunning. That's what you get with this K18 hair mask.
Those brands everybody's talking about, they're at Sephora. Discover the hype with the hottest names in beauty, including Laneige, Kayali, K18, and Rare Beauty. Click or tap the banner to discover the next big thing. Only at Sephora.
Today on CityCast Portland, we're continuing our neighborhood guide series where we talk with Portlanders about the good, bad, and ugly of where they live. And this time we're talking about the Piedmont neighborhood, which straddles both North and Northeast Portland, with longtime resident and publisher and editor of Bike Portland, Jonathan Maas. He's telling us why Piedmont is your favorite neighborhood's favorite neighborhood. It's Thursday, February 13th. I'm Claudia Meza, and this is what Portland's talking about. Before we get into specific spots to check out, do you just want to name the boundaries of Piedmont? Because I got to tell you, I feel like I've made myself the mayor of North Portland. And Piedmont is one of the neighborhoods where I'm like, where is that again?
Totally makes sense for reasons why I think we'll probably get to in a second. But the boundaries officially are to the south, it's Northeast Ainsworth, right? So the street right to the south of Peninsula Park. And then north, I think, is the coolest boundary. I think it's technically the north bank of the Columbia Slough.
Oh, that's such a fun ride.
Yeah, right. And then I-5 over on the west side, right, of the boundary. And then northeast Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard on the east side. So that is Piedmont.
Oh, for some reason, I always categorize the slough as Kenton's.
Well, it's also in Kenton, right? So it crosses both neighborhoods. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why. All right. So give me your best Piedmont pitch. Tell me why it's a neighborhood that I should know about, even though I've lived in North Portland pretty much my entire adult life.
Oof.
What do you love about living there? Jonathan, what do you love about living there?
I really think like this is sounded cheesy and cliche, but it's like location. It's just in a really convenient spot. I mean, I'm equidistant from like, really awesome places up in St. John's, like whatever, Kelly Point Park, Pier Park, even Main Street, Lombard there in St. John's, which is always cool, as I am from City Hall. So to me, it's right on the edge of like what's a nice bikeable distance to get downtown and to get to like, Southeast, which is like 3.5 miles or so. It's also, it's a really quiet neighborhood. The good and bad thing is we don't really have like a business district, but that also means that it's pretty chill up here. The streets are pretty open in terms of like, I'm sure in North Portland and all over the city really, but there's some streets where there's just cars like every single inch of the street parked up. I actually noticed that. Obviously, like I'm sort of a transportation oriented person, so I do notice like how many cars are parked on streets, but we have really cool access to the bike network. We have an amazing park.
Some would say the best park.
Yeah, I would also say that. I think it is the best park in the city.
Come on.
I know.
Come on. Now I'm becoming a Piedmont booster because I just realized why I never knew is I always thought Piedmont was part of Arbor Lodge where I lived.
Oh, you did? How dare you? That's our park. What do you...
Don't get mad at me.
Well,
but I just thought, because I'm riding my bike and all, it's the same. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in Arbor Lodge, right? I'm so sorry, Jonathan. I want to apologize. I want to take this moment to apologize to everyone in Piedmont. I had no idea how gorgeous your neighborhood was. It's betwixt Woodlawn and Arbor Lodge, so I get why. And then it's like north of Humboldt, which, yeah, all of this now makes sense why I just assumed, which is crazy because I also thought that Humboldt was in Arbor Lodge.
I don't know if you're laughing at me or with me here on this, Claudia, but it's true. It's of all the neighborhoods, I think Piedmont is one of the ones that people just don't know about. They don't talk about it. You don't hear about it. It's just like Piedmont. What's that? Is that in Portland? And that it comes back to, we just, it's funny. You said you're thinking Peninsula Park is in Arbor Lodge. And it's like, well, when we were talking about this episode, I was kind of like thinking of all the cool places and none of them were in Piedmont, but they're just like a street or two or a block or two away from Piedmont.
Because you're like the heart of the
we're
neighborhood.
In the middle of it.
right? So everyone's going to claim you.
That's right. Well, that's fine.
Piedmont, everyone's North Portland neighborhood.
We need stickers, though, that's like Peninsula Park is in Piedmont.
You should do it, Jonathan.
You should.
People would just be like, why is he being so aggressive about this? And we'll just be like, I don't know. I will feign ignorance. I'm like, I don't know where he's bringing this attitude from. I'm sorry about him.
Yeah, right.
So where would you take someone new to the area?
Well, Peninsula Park for sure.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
That is the coolest place in town. And not just the coolest place in our neighborhood, but one of the coolest places in town for sure. I don't know if folks know, but yeah, it's got the original rose garden sunken down. And I was just there with my mom, actually, who's in town for my birthday. And I was talking about it. And they've kept it like historically accurate, I think. If you look at like the bricks and the way they trim everything, it just looks so beautiful all the time, all throughout the year. It's just a really, really beautiful park. But beyond that, the slough is really cool. I think it's got the best view of Mount Hood in our neighborhood. Looking east from the Columbia Slough bike path is really nice. So those are the two places that I would take folks from out of town. Farragut Park deserves a mention as well, although I think it has sort of a bad rap. But it is a really cool park as well if you're into more sort of like hidden parks, I guess. Like a lot of people don't talk about Farragut, but it's pretty cool. And it's got this like industrial adjacent railroad track right next to it and a cool like wooded area on the north of the park where it's just like a lot of people just let their dogs go wild and stuff. So it's a really fun park as well.
Yeah, I always forget about Farragut Park. And there's like a splash pad, which is cool for the kids.
Yeah, they just made a big investment in the park. Brand new basketball court, brand new playground over at Farragut too. So yeah.
That's pretty cool. Okay. When I think about Piedmont now, I'm thinking it's a neighborhood that is like so neighborhoody. Can you walk to places in Piedmont to eat?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Where do you go?
I mean, this is the thing, right? Like, and I was wondering, as talking to you, I'm kind of like a stickler for accuracy. So I was like, hey, if it's one block out, I'm not talking about it.
Wow.
But that makes it very limiting because we are literally a block or two from a lot of really cool stuff. The coolest place to walk in our neighborhood, it's kind of a double-edged sword. It's actually close walking distance, which is on Lombard, and that's where some cool places are to eat, like Mi Burrito, which is a really nice Mexican place.
Tell me about Mi Burrito, because I've never heard of Mi Burrito.
Yeah, so Mi Burrito, right? It's like a...
My Burrito.
My Burrito, my neighborhood, right?
Okay.
So, it's just like a good basic Mexican place. I think it's got like fresh horchata and always has like good specials, and it's just always got, cool people in there hanging out, and it's just a good place. So, good salsa bar as well. That's a place we go on the regular, and you got to pick up your burrito. And for my family, it's actually been beating out Azteca, which is over on Rosa Parks, over in Arbor Lodge. So
that was my place.
See, there you go.
Azteca, because, it was $13. I don't know how much it is now, but a burrito, a shot of tequila, and a beer with tortilla chips, $13.
Well, Azteca's got a bar next door, so that's kind of like not a fair fight. But Mi Burrito doesn't have a bar right next door, so we don't get the shots. But it's good, affordable, good, tasty stuff in there. So and also Casa Zoraya is over there too. It's another good spot.
Oh, the Peruvian spot.
Yeah, that's an excellent restaurant. We also actually another part of Piedmont a lot of people don't talk about when we're talking about food is the Park the Carts. It's our big food cart pod. It's been there for probably 6-7 years, I think. So it's not new, but it's not super old. So yeah, the Park the Carts, I think they've got like 16 pods right on MLK, just south of Lombard. There's not like a bike lane or a bike street or tons of foot traffic necessarily over there. So folks may not have heard of it, but they have a really good list of carts. That is a cool place. We've walked over there like a few times. They have a good gyro place, Omar's, and they have excellent pupusas, La Puerta. Really good pupusa place.
That's where the Mongolia barbecue used to be.
Exactly. See, everybody knows the old Mongolian barbecue.
Yeah. I remember
that place was legendary. That was the spot.
Okay, so we've heard a few of the positives. I need to know, like, what are your personal Piedmont gripes? Is it that everyone thinks that it's Arbor Lodge?
Okay, that would be one. For sure. I kind of mentioned it before. I really wish we had a cool, like even closer place with like a few businesses or restaurants.
That would be really district, cool. Right?
Yeah, business district would be fun.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like always in my face because if you go to Peninsula Park, there's just such a natural intersection there with North Albina and North Rosa Parks Way where you would just think that there could be some really cool places. We've had this like coffee place / it's like a car detail place, which has been open the whole time, which is all cool. But there's this coffee shop that's just been shuttered almost ever since I've been here. I think it's survived a few years after I got here like 21, 22 years ago. But since then, it's just been like, it's almost falling down. And it's just like, oh, how come someone just doesn't buy that place or open up a cool spot right there across from the park? I could just see people sitting sitting outside enjoying a drink or whatever. But so yeah, that's a bummer that we don't have like a really cool business district, but we have them all around us. Like you said, we're right next to Woodlawn, right next to Arbor Lodge, right next to Humboldt, which on Killingsworth has gotten so much cooler. So that is probably the place that we take most folks, although I wish it was a few blocks closer.
Yeah.
But the other bummer I have to mention is I-5.
Oh.
It goes right through. I mean, that's our boundary. It's a bummer. And when I moved here, I wasn't so into thinking about transportation as much, young couple, little baby, like, let's just buy a house in Portland kind of thing. And I never realized like what it was like to just live a few blocks from a freeway. There are some good things about it, but obviously living next to a freeway has some downsides as well. So that's the other thing about Piedmont that is one of my gripes, is the freeway being so close.
I just imagine you next to the freeway just shaking your fist.
Oh, for sure. No, it's been 20 some years now, so I'm not as crazy about it as I used to be. So yeah, it was a big bummer. I used to just close my eyes and think it's a river rushing by.
Oh, like the ocean?
Yeah.
I looked at a house right next to the 5. And I remember going to the back, because it's where Oakley Green Middle School is. You know that neighborhood?
Oh, yeah. Oakley Green. Yeah.
And I went in, and it was so cute because it had like little French doors to this outdoor area. And we opened the French doors, and it was just like,
oh, no.
Do you know what I mean? It was just like the ocean, but like not, And I was like, oh, you can really hear the freeway from here. And I was like, no, we're leaving.
Yeah, I don't think I would have survived in my house as long as I have if it was that bad where I'm at. It's not terrible in my house. Luckily, the freeway is buried, so it is down in like a valley, which would be terrible if it was like, right at house level. I have to say, it's also like if and when you do get in a car, it actually is super convenient. One thing that my family loves to do is do this hike over in Forest Park, and we can literally be like parked at the trailhead in like 7 minutes if there's no traffic.
That's pretty awesome.
It's pretty crazy. So like Northwest 23rd is like our adopted neighborhood because we can get over there so fast. If it's a weekend, it's 30 seconds for me to be on I-5 from my house. So
that's your sister
kind of
neighborhood.
Pretty nice. Yeah, it's my sister neighborhood.
Do you know what it is? Like what the actual neighborhood is?
What is that? Is that Nob Hill?
Maybe.
I don't know.
It's your sister neighborhood.
Hey, I should learn that. But hey, I don't know if folks over there know anything about Piedmont, so I don't know. Probably not. They would never come this far north.
Okay, well, let's take a quick break here. And when we come back, where Jonathan would take someone on the perfect date in the Piedmont neighborhood.
Building a portfolio with Fidelity Basket Portfolios is kind of like making a sandwich. It's as simple as picking your stocks and ETFs, sort of like your meats and other toppings, and managing it as one big, juicy investment. Now that's pretty good. Learn more at fidelity.com/baskets. Investing involves risk, including risk of loss. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
You know what's smart? Enjoying a fresh gourmet meal at home that you didn't have to cook. Meet Factor, your loophole in the laws of mealtime. Chef-crafted meals delivered with a tap, ready in just 2 minutes. You know what's even smarter? Treating yourself without cheating your goals. Factor is dietitian approved, chef prepared, and you plated. Pretty smart, huh? Refresh your routine and eat smart with Factor. Learn more at factormeals.com.
What is the perfect date within the bounds of the Piedmont neighborhood?
Well, we would definitely hop on bikes. We would use the Michigan Neighborhood Greenway. I got to drop that name in there because it's one of the best neighborhood greenways. Super safe place to ride bikes. And also the North Rosa Park's protected bike lane. And we would safely, calmly, enjoyably go over to Peninsula Park. Right on top of the stairs in Peninsula Park, right before the historic gazebo, there's a nice little strip of grass, and you can look out at the huge grassy central area of the park, which the designers of the park very smartly, all around the edge of the park are really huge trees for a reason. So you can't really see out. You can't see the houses almost barely. You can barely see any cars, and that's by design. So it just is like this amazing oasis. We would hang out there. There's often people playing music in the gazebo, practicing. There's like a blues band that'll practice or whatever, or there's always just like events and stuff in the park. And that's just a really cool place to chill. And then after that, we would roll over to, I think, Casa Zaraya.
Nice.
That's a really nice spot. That Peruvian spot's excellent. Really good fresh empanadas. They have a nice like heated patio in the back, or just chill patio in the summer if you don't need the heat. I'm just thinking about heat right now. So yeah, we'd hang out over there. And Who knows where we'd finish up? I may have to go back south and go a few blocks out of the neighborhood, to maybe Tulip Room Tavern over on Killingsworth. I know that's breaking the rules, but that's right on Killingsworth.
You know what? Yeah, is that Arbor?
That is Humboldt.
Oh, Humboldt.
See,
okay.
But that's really like, I mean, I would say that's my neighborhood. I mean, that's like saying, Jefferson High School isn't my neighborhood when I can just walk over there. I mean, it's only a block. Come on, give me a... It's technically not in Piedmont, but...
Oh, yeah, it's really close. Oh, have you seen Humboldt? They got Sweet ED, too, in Victoria. I mean, not...
Yes, I have. Thanks for rubbing it in. That's the street I want in my neighborhood. Dang it. Man.
Sorry. I just looked down and I was like, oh, they got friggin'
Claudia's like, hey, Jonathan, I got to go. I got to go interview somebody about Humboldt. Be back in a few minutes.
I'm so sorry.
Jeez.
Okay. But yeah, I'm getting a note from Julia that you said Tulip Room Tavern, but it's Tulip Shop Tavern.
Oh, Tulip Shop. There you go.
And, here's the deal. In conversation, you and I wouldn't care, but there's going to be someone, a listener, who will email us and be like, actually. So to that listener, apologies. He very much meant Tulip Shop Tavern.
Tulip Shop. There it is.
When not in Humboldt or Arbor Lodge, where do the Piedmont locals hang out?
Funny you should ask. Peninsula Park. This is the easiest interview. It's the same answer to every question.
Just so you know, Piedmont is quickly becoming my favorite neighborhood. I need you to know this.
Oh, that's good. I knew this would have the power of influence on Piedmont because it's so amazing. So what we could do is we could break down Peninsula into different sections. So have different ansers, right? I mean, like if you got kids, you're hanging out in the playground. The old school playground, which is like it's vintage, playground stuff. We haven't updated it with all these weird, wacky things. It's just like this old
there's
school.
Plenty of tetanus to be had.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
Although they had replaced the massive long straight slide, which my kids grew up on. So that one part they did change. I was a little bummed. But we still have the old school playground for the little ones. There's the splash pad in one section, but then you got like there's different sections, let's put it that way. So let's split that up so it's more than one destination. And it also has a community center for people that don't know, and a pool, which is a nice outdoor pool, which is pretty stinking rare in Portland. I don't know how many outdoor community pools we have. Maybe Selwood is the other one because Dishman's indoors. The other one in North Portland's closed. So
yeah,
that's where locals hang out. I mean, if they're local bike people, we're in the e-bike store. That's where I like to go hang out. That's a shop,
Do they have coffee in there or something, or just?
Yeah, these all the folks over there are great. We're just if you're like into bikes, that's kind of a thing people do. Is you just hang out at a bike shop and shoot the shit, that kind of thing.
The local e-bike store. What's funny is I know that store. I've seen that store. It's been there I feel like for a long time.
That was like the original electric bike shop in Portland. Yeah, still there. It's awesome.
Oh, I didn't know that. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. And the owner lives like right around the corner, so he's like super into the neighborhood and stuff. So it's awesome.
Isn't there like a homemade furniture shop somewhere around there?
You're probably thinking of Delia, which used to be there. One of the coolest artists who I just saw the other night at the Winter Light Festival. The guy that made the dragon, the centerpiece of the Portland Winter Light Festival, which is going on right now, which is amazing. That guy's shop used to be right here in our neighborhood, but he moved away a few years ago. His name's Ivan McLean. He does all kinds of cool metal fabrication work that you can see like all over town. Like his gear sphere is over on North Williams in front of one of those new housing things, this big orb of like made out of bike chains and stuff.
Yeah, I was thinking of Dahlia. Yeah, Dahlia.
Yep, Dahlia. Yeah. I mean, I'm tempted to claim the Bluffs too, but since that's not technically in our neighborhood.
People will fight you. Like,
people will go to the Bluffs.
Knives will come out. Are you kidding me?
The Piedmont Bluffs? Did I just say it? No, I'm just
yeah. I mean, maybe that's how we'll
Let's
title
start
this.
some. That's another sticker.
Piedmont Bluffs. That's it.
People's heads will explode. What's he doing? How dare him?
Well, before we wrap up, is there anything else you want to mention about Piedmont?
This is a chill, quiet, cool place. Good, hardworking folks living here. The street I'm living on, it's got places where people that help, build a bunch of ships down in Swan Island back in the day used to live. Love that about our neighborhood. We've got a really sweet neighborhood association. Folks have been putting in lots of work for years in the neighborhood, being advocates for Piedmont. Guess where they meet every third Thursday?
Park?
It's at Peninsula Park. It's the neighborhood association meets over there. So really awesome people doing cool stuff. So
nice.
That's it. Yeah.
Dude, thank you so much for taking the time and telling me about your awesome hood. I'm really actually excited that I finally now have like this mental orientation of where Piedmont is. Because when people say I live in Piedmont, I'm like, yeah, North Portland somewhere. Right?
Nod your head. Well, good. Glad we could set the record straight. You got it.
Well, yeah. And also now I'm going to imagine you in it. I'll be like, that's where Jonathan lives.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Awesome.
Yeah.
Love it. Glad to be of service.
now for some events happening this week. Every Thursday on the show, we like to bring you a few recommendations to help you plan your weekend. And here's what we got. The Portland Winter Lights Festival continues through the weekend, which if you haven't checked out at all, you should at least catch the huge fire-breathing dragon at the Tom McCall Waterfront Park. And if you don't feel like going downtown, tonight on the east side, you can catch the Northeast Portland Splash Apartments get the Winter Lights treatment. And this weekend, in celebration of Oregon statehood, you can get into the Oregon Historical Society for free. If you haven't been, it's actually pretty cool, and it'll land you downtown, so you can then go see that dragon spitting pure fire at the waterfront. Also this weekend, from noon to 9 p.m., the White Lotus Market invites you to celebrate Lunar New Year with a feast of flavors from Portland's vibrant AAPI community. Head over to the Shun Fat Supermarket in Lentz to ring in the Year of the Snake. A snake, which is reminiscent of a dragon, something you can find at our Southwest waterfront, literally shooting fire out of its mouth. For even more local news and events, sign up for our daily newsletter, Hey Portland, or head over to our site, portland.citycast.fm/events. We'll throw a link in the show notes. Well, that's all for today here on CityCast Portland. Thanks so much for listening. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more from around the city. Until then, see you at Slim's.